If I could describe Brand New Animal in one word, it would be unfocused.
Anima City is boring.
BNA is one of the worst written shows this season.
What is a furry? Well, furries are fans of anthropomorphic characters. Those are animals with human characteristics.
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy, that's a thick-ass boy!
No. Can I pet that dog? No, he's
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
There's also this perception out there that a lot of this has like a very kinky edge to it.
I'm sure it happens, and it not everybody.
All right, Lala. Lala, do the bit. Do the opening bit. Do it. Do the bit. Here we are.
Going far to save all that we love. Do you know what that is?
No, what
That's
are you?
Code Lyoko.
Oh, fuck.
fucking
Oh,
fool.
Jesus. Oh, save that for another video. Now people are going to want us to talk about Code Lyoko.
Oh, God. I'm not
Anyways.
sure I can.
We watched a thing! This week, we
Wow, we watched anime.
we did good. This week, we finished Brand New Animal, BNA. I'm sure you've seen our first episode reaction. Show by Studio Trigger. You know it. You love it. Let's talk about it. It's a pretty fucking fun time, right? I enjoyed it a lot.
I have to say, I'm a little disappointed in Trigger with this one.
Oh, yeah?
Because it's not 26 episodes long. Purr, 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 purr. I was just being funny.
Okay.
I wasn't being serious. I was doing a bit. That was a gaffe.
Yeah, it was definitely one where it ends, and it's like, man, I wish I had more of that. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and it was over fast, and, but, you know, they told the story they wanted to tell, and they got the fuck out of there. It didn't drag on too long.
I mean, I had a really fun time.
Yeah.
I feel like something like BNA is maybe more enjoyable and hopefully will remain in the consciousness of the anime community longer than something like Space Patrol Luluco.
Oh, yeah,
because
for sure.
even though Luluco had a really cool ending, a lot of it in the middle is really forgettable.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like with BNA, there's something in almost all the episodes that sticks with you, that's fun enough or that's interesting enough that it doesn't really have that lull that I feel like Luluco had.
Because BNA kind of, first of all, I mean, Luluco was short episodes, and it was kind of like,
Luluco was the micro episodes.
But with BNA, it's like, I'd say the first half is like episodic, kind of, and then the second half kind of digs deep into the plot, into the beans. I really wish now, after finishing it, that I had more episodic stuff, because, like, it was a lot of fun. Some of the shit they did was really funny, which we'll get into, but I don't know what the cultural conception on this is, you know? I haven't looked up anyone else's opinion on it. I haven't seen anyone talk about it that I know.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to have fallen off on Twitter.
Yeah. I heard from DigiNay that I guess people didn't like it.
I had heard various rumblings about not liking the ending.
I guess furries didn't like it for some reason.
What?
Who knows?
Why?
I guess furries were disappointed.
Nazuna is like the most furry icon I can imagine.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like the literal fucking most furry shit in the world.
It's the most DeviantArt wolf furry OC thing I've seen in my whole goddamn life.
But overall, thought it was great, and I hope it's something that fucking lives on. I'm excited that it's gonna be on Netflix. I think this could be a fucking great entry point for anime, like anime fans, like young people, especially kids.
Yeah.
Because overall, I think certainly more than any other Trigger show, except for maybe Little Witch Academia.
Yeah.
Like, this feels like a Saturday morning cartoon, like, almost shoujo, shonen, anime hybrid kind of deal, you know?
Yeah, I think you probably gave it the best description when you compared it to something like Batman Beyond.
Yeah, it feels like Batman Beyond or Batman the Animated Series to me, but it feels like this is a show made for girls. To me, like,
Because
I don't know what
about girls?
I think it's because the main character's a girl, and the fact that it's so much about their friendship, like these two girls who are BFFs, you know.
Hunter x Hunter is a show about friendship.
Yeah,
and that's not for girls.
It's just
I
the
feel
certain
like
way that it's portrayed. I don't know, because like a lot of shows that are for girls
think
have this
your brain
character
colors
dynamic,
it that
you know?
way because it's two girls, and so
and because
you're
it's,
inherently going to see it in that light.
well, it's like it doesn't have many of like boys anime tend to have certain characteristics that this show does not have. And it's like, this show never has a sexualized female in the entire thing. I would not say that they sexualize these characters in any fucking way, except for maybe the main girl has nice legs. But like, there's never a bunch of cleavage, tits, fan service, any of that whatsoever. The whole thing. The aesthetic is very pink, very pastel, associated with girls, with cuteness, animal characters. The guy, the wolf guy, is very aesthetically like a girl's anime pretty boy.
He is a pretty boy.
He is a pretty boy to the extent where it's like, this to me looks like a character design made for girls and not for boys, you know? Because like if it were for guys, they would have gone with the tough guy for that character, you know? Like, given who he is, he has like, his personality is like almost Oyaji Moe kind of thing, but they went for like a pretty boy kind of look.
I just don't know that I agree that he's like a real pretty boy character. He still has certain like facial attributes, and like the way his eyes are don't really ring like pretty boy to me.
Well, he's like edgy cute boy, you know?
I don't know. I don't agree.
Like, it just seems to be like a character design geared towards girls, and then the wolf form is like the boys like the wolf form, and then the girls are like, you know, get the pretty boy look. I don't know. It's just the way I'm reading certain things, but it's just the way that the show, like, at the very least, it feels like a kid's show, you know? It feels like a Saturday morning cartoon.
I agree more.
And like, I think by the nature of it being a kid's show, being about like largely about the friendship of two girls, to me, traditionally, from what kids shows tend to be, if it's a show about friendship starring girls, it's a kids show for girls. If it's a show about friendship starring boys, it's a kids show for boys. Even the Powerpuff Girls is considered a show for girls, even though has gender neutral appeal.
I was gonna say,
you know?
I feel like
I'm not
just as
saying,
many guys
like, I
watched
think this has
Powerpuff
gender
Girls
neutral
growing
appeal.
up.
I'm just saying it's like they took into consideration what girls like going into this, you know?
I just think
And I think
that
it has more feminine appeal than your average anime for sure.
I just feel like because the default is setting up for male appeal, that's the only reason you see it.
I think
that way.
it's fairly gender neutral. But as far as
I think
anime
something
goes,
having like a good neon color scheme and like good solid character design and being told from a female perspective doesn't make it a feminine show. I think you're colored on that perspective because the template is male perspective, the template is masculine, the template you're used to is for men.
This is a feminine template, you know?
But that doesn't make
it so like it
for girls.
Well, I'm not necessarily that it's made for girls, but it's taking gender neutral considerations that anime does not take. Anime is typically geared for boys, especially in this sort of genre, you know? It's usually, like, this has a shonen-esque plot, but it has a very gender-neutral style and appeal, which to me is at least taking into consideration not alienating girls, you know? In the way that certain anime do.
Something like this stacks up against like a children's show that is meant for girls, like Precure or Doremi or
because
something.
I mean those are certainly like made for girls or otaku, you know, but it's like there's some differences in there, but it is, you know, it's an interesting take. Like this isn't the hill I'm gonna die on. I just think it's interesting to think about. That's why I'm bringing it up. But but really, my greater point, like the reason why that is significant to me is that it's going on Netflix, and that this to me is a show where, like, if you looked at a catalog of anime thumbnails, and you're like 11 years old, I think this one, the thumbnail and trailer, regardless of if you've seen anime or have any familiarity with it, this one is going to be pretty good at bridging the gap between like kids who have only experienced cartoons and kids who are getting into anime. Like this will have pretty fucking broad appeal.
Yeah.
Like I think it's something that should be able to get legs without the anime community, like without it being promoted as anime, you know? Like it should be able to exist on Netflix. A kid scrolls over the trailer and goes, this is about fucking animal people and cool shit, and it's got this, you know, like if they put out the trailer and it's this pink and blue aesthetic and it's got like the pop song, you know, ending or opening, like I think especially maybe young girls will be interested. I like that idea and I'm excited about that. Whereas me as a young boy watching the trailer for this on Netflix would probably be like, that looks gay. I don't know, you know, it's hard to tell because media and culture has changed a lot since I was a little boy, you know, but like generally, like it's probably something we would have eventually watched, but initially put off as like, that looks dumb. But then Wolf Guy would have got me in. So it depends on how they do the trailer, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just, you know, I guess not to get on about it forever, but I think the universal appeal of it is interesting, and I think that'll be it'll give it legs, hopefully.
Yeah.
I hope this is not a show that people forget about, and I hope that it is a great gateway into anime. I think especially for younger people, if they haven't seen anime, I feel like so many people should be able to get into this because it's just really good, you know?
I feel like this would be a perfect gateway show for people who, like you said, are not really familiar with anime, younger people, and like maybe even to get people into like Trigger and Gainax's backlog, because to give someone something like Kill la Kill right off the bat is going to be too much.
Exactly.
So if you show them BNA and you show them Little Witch Academia and you like kind of ease them, and maybe then you go Gurren Lagann, and then you can back them up into like Kill la Kill, or if you want to try Panty and Stocking, like, but you know, this is much more friendly to a wide audience.
Because the only hill you have to get over is the animal people aspect of it. Which if you're like some weird furry averse normie, that's gonna be a problem for you.
Guess,
but it doesn't take a furry angle on this in terms of like fan service.
Yeah.
Like this just doesn't fall into the pitfalls that turn people off to anime, you know? It generally takes it in a different direction. It feels a lot more like a Western cartoon and like an old DC 90s animated series, you know?
Yeah.
To me, at least, because I grew up on that kind of shit. And like aesthetically, it reminds me of that, especially in the way that the wolf guy is a very Batman-like character. He's got his police commissioner Gordon. He's working with the mayor. You know, main girl is basically like a Robin. Like they're using sort of Batman-esque archetypes, and it's in this Western style cityscape, or not really Western style at all. I think that's the whole world these days. But yeah, it's in a New York-esque metropolis with these sort of superhero-esque characters, Batman-esque characters. Not really. He's not really a vigilante in any way because he's working with the state. But he's kind of a vigilante. Like he's operating under the table.
He's a legally sanctioned vigilante.
Yeah, and doing whatever the fuck he wants. But yeah, I think that just has like a universal comic book appeal, you know, that I think is really strong. That aside, if we want to talk about the actual plot of what happens,
no.
But I think like, you know, it's a unique show, and like that is what makes it unique, and so I think it's interesting to talk about what actually makes this show fucking different than any other fucking anime, you know, which is its aesthetics, its approach to storytelling. It's still very much like a Studio Trigger type of directing and storytelling and script, but like it just takes, and they've always done it, they take so much influence from Western cartoons that it doesn't feel like anime aesthetically. It blends art styles, and it, like, goes all over the place, and it's not afraid to, like, take the plot in weird directions or do a goofy episode, you know? Which is neat.
Yeah.
The plot. What happens?
So, at the beginning of our story, we meet Michiru, who is a...
Checking on the audio.
Okay. Who is a Tanuki girl who is on the run. You see that she's trying to stay away from, like, some people who seem like they might be up to no good. She hops up on the top of a bus and she's heading towards a big
broad
city.
Broad strokes.
I'm starting broad and I'm starting detailed and I'll get broad.
Okay.
Anyway, because that sets the tone for like what the outside world is like and what she's trying to escape to. So she's being hunted down by these people who don't like the Beastmen, but with the help of some cool people, she makes it over to the Beast City. They've got like a big fucking parade going on, and she's like, "Oh, cool! A place where I can be accepted as a Beastman. This is awesome." Everyone's walking around. They're in their animal forms. Everyone's super chill. But then she gets pickpocketed, and there's an explosion. And then the Oyaji wolf guy saves her from being beaten up in an alley. And she's like, "Oh, maybe shit here isn't actually perfect." And then she gets in a bunch of adventures. That's the show.
That's hilarious.
That's like the first 6 episodes of the show.
That's the first episode of the show.
No, the adventures.
Oh, well, yeah, adventures.
That's just the episodic
yeah.
adventures.
So yeah, she has some episodic adventures with Beastman, fighting crime. They kind of take different looks at the different aspects of the city because you're kind of learning about the seedy underbelly of, like, there's a city made for beastmen. It's not perfect at all. There's like human trafficking going on, all kinds of shit. You kind of learn, like, this is a segregated society, basically. Like, the humans have decided, because beastmen lived along, like, in the darkness, basically, like, kind of like vampire stories where it's like beastmen have been around since the dawn of time. Originally, like in Egypt, ancient Egypt and stuff, they were allies with the humans, but they created their own societies, divorced from humans, and then they kind of just went into hiding and were kind of nomadic people for a while. And now they've come out of hiding, they come out of the closet, and so at least the story takes place in Japan. This city is a segregated city that they created for beastmen to live in, where they have their own society. It's literally segregation. Like, it's literally separate but equal.
Yeah.
They have their own city.
But even within that city, there is
Yeah.
additional segregation between different kinds of beastmen.
Which is, it's like the concept of it is, you know, they have their own segregated city where they, you know, have like they create their own laws. They have their own systems
They're
and economy.
autonomous
Like,
in a way.
They're an autonomous nation where they do their own thing. But over the course of it, you realize the sort of the facade that is being perpetuated here, because the city is basically owned by a pharmaceutical company.
Yes.
Run by humans.
Sylvasta.
At least apparently they're run by humans, but yeah, they're run by this fucking evil pharmaceutical company that is so comically obviously evil. Like, I definitely, like, the plot of this is not unpredictable.
No.
It is very predictable, it is very by the numbers, but it is a great execution of this style of story, and especially if you're younger and you
I
haven't
think it's
seen this
great
style
for
of
kids.
story, it's really good. I don't think something having an unoriginal, like, framework of a plot is a big slight against it, you know? Because it's telling its own story really well.
Yeah, it's
Like,
about execution when you're dealing with a story you've seen before.
and sort of introducing it through another concept. And these are stories eternally retold for all of time. Like, this is a universal story that has grounds in real life. You know, we really had segregation at some point. We still have racial problems. We still have problems with authority and police and pharmaceutical companies owning everything. Like, this tackles real world issues through the lens of this beast society. And that's, you know, one of the great things that media and art can do.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes you gotta tell the same story again because history doesn't change, you know? And this shit keeps happening. You see it in the world today. Go watch BNA if you want to think about politics, I guess.
I especially agree that I think it'll be good for a younger audience that hasn't had a lens to look at those issues.
Yeah.
Because it will maybe make them see and think about things they haven't seen or thought about before.
And it's like,
obviously that's younger people.
Like, as
kids.
a version of this type of story, like, Beastars is a better societal analysis of, like, racial differences and shit, but that's an all beast world.
Right. There's no
but
humans
like
in
it's a similar aspect. Same with Zootopia, because that has a predator versus prey dynamic, which this show does not have. It has humans versus beastmen.
Right.
It takes it in a different direction, but it still is the same fundamental core, which is that there is this group of people and that group of people. Through the course of the show, you learn that the humans discriminate pretty fucking hard against beastmen. They're very racist towards them.
They're super duper racist.
Sometimes inadvertently. There's an episode where there's a girl who, you know, in her human form, she's gotten famous on the internet because in the beast society, they do not have access to human internet or communications. You have to have hacked phones to be able to access the human internet because they want to keep them separate. Harsh segregation in this society. So this girl is the daughter of a mafia boss, so she has a hacked phone where she can pretend to be a human online, and so she has an Instagram following. She ends up befriending another influencer, and so she goes to the human city to go to this influencer's party with the main character girl tagging along, and, like, they give her all this attention because none of them have ever even interacted with a beast girl before, and so they're like, she's so cool, and they give her all this attention, and they're showing up, but they're like objectifying her as like this.
It's in a way where she's entertainment. They're not viewing her as like a person.
But she's never had this attention before, so she thinks they're all being nice, and then they end up at this fucking point where she gets exhausted, and they think that she needs to be in water because she's a dolphin.
Yeah.
And so they put her in this fucking giant fish tank, and she's literally drowning to death.
Yes, they put her in a sealed tank because they had her in a pool, and she was, like, doing tricks and shit. And they were like, oh, she seemed tired, so we just put her in this fucking tank, and she's drowning because she's a mammal, obviously.
And all these people are just standing around dumbfounded watching this girl fucking die. And it's so brutal. And, like, they don't give a fuck, you know?
And it's, like, it's not
they
that
think of her
innocent,
as an animal, you know?
But they don't really realize the cruelty of what they're doing. They're ignorant.
They're
not doing it out of
They were trying to
malice.
help, but they're looking at her like she's a fish, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, the fish is dying. Put the fish in water.
She is subhuman, for sure. They're not doing it maliciously, but they are ignorant and they are hurting her.
She can talk. She can say what she needs.
Yeah.
She's literally screaming for help. Mm-hmm. And they're not listening to her.
Like, visibly, you can see she's distressed. She's banging on the tank. Like, she is clearly not happy.
Yeah, so shit gets real sometimes. But, I digress. Over the course of the plot, you sort of learn the pharmaceutical company basically controls everything. There is a cult rising. So the main girl's best friend had disappeared after they had an accident. And then that's when the main girl turned into a beast man. She was not born a beast man. She just randomly turned into a beast man. She doesn't know why.
Just randomly one day.
So the overall plot is about that mystery surrounding that. And she ends up reconnecting with her friend who has become... Like, she, growing up, always wanted to be an idol, and so now she has become a cult leader.
Same thing.
Because this cult adopted her, and they, like, there is a god that is a giant white wolf that supposedly has appeared throughout history to help the Beastmen through hard times.
Right.
And so, like, the Beastmen low-key worship this white wolf as, like, but it's like a symbolic worship.
Yes.
It's a very
necessarily
Japanese thing of, like,
literal.
worshiping this old god, you know, and what it represents, and just being a big fan of it. But this cult takes that and turns it into this religion where you have to be a good boy to appease this
May
god.
you be a better beast man.
May you be a better beast man. You have to be a good boy. And so they are using the main girl's friend because she can shapeshift, because she is a kitsune.
Yes.
The other shapeshifting Japanese mythological animal besides a tanuki.
How convenient.
So she is transformed into the great white wolf and is pretending to be a wolf girl as the leader of this cult to pretend to be this god. And so the beastmen are becoming devout followers of this god, and, like, that becomes a big aspect of the plot.
Yes.
Building into insanity. But basically, let's get into the end. Like, long story short, end of the mystery. Spoiler alert. Like, basically, the pharmaceutical company is run by a guy who's a quote unquote human, and his plan this whole time has been to, like, it turns out that there once was an ancient society of beastmen, and they were all, like, it turns out when beastmen live together for too long, they get really frustrated with each other, and they go berserk.
Yes.
And so this society of beastmen had all started going berserk, and then they ended up at war with humans, and it's hard to say exactly how it happened because there's two different sides of the story, and it's not really clear what exactly happened.
What they explain it as is when it's too many different kinds of beastmen live together in a society, their differences begin building up and creating so much stress that they go berserk.
Which is, parallel to our society. Very Japanese, weird nationalist take.
Yeah, a little bit.
But in the end, the lesson is that, they do get to coexist in the end. So it doesn't have a racist outcome. It just has a questionable racial theory, which is that having too many races together. But you see in our society right now,
in reality?
there's a lot of, there's tension that comes up because certain people fuck over other people. White people.
The Jews. Oh, okay.
White people fuck over everyone, including the Jews. But yeah, so this ancient society fell both because they were turning into grotesque monsters and because they were invaded by humans and there was a big war.
Yes.
But it turns out the White Wolf main Batman guy is the wolf god of legend. And he became that god because he was a soldier in the army of this society. And then he fought in the battle against the humans. And so many of his comrades died. And they were all thrown into a pit. And he, took basically, the collective soul energy of all these dead guys and became the spirit of revenge.
Yeah, basically
essentially.
He all of their souls gave him strength, and that's how he became
and so
wolf god.
He became the wolf god, and he is the spirit of revenge, and he decides he's going to take revenge on humans, and he just slaughters and massacres countless numbers of them, but he never finds the guy who's the general of the army that killed all of his brothers.
His people.
And he eventually decides, I'm getting nothing out of this endless quest for revenge. I'm going to turn it into, I'm going to help Beastman society the best I can.
I'm a protector of Beastmen now.
He becomes the protector of Beastmen. So that is his role. And so he has lived for 1,000 years. And now in this Beast City, he came there because it was a gathering of Beastmen. His role is to protect them. So he's trying to make the city work along with the mayor and keep everything hunky-dory. And he has been at odds with the president of the pharmaceutical company, who's a human, because he distrusts all humans, and the pharmaceutical company is obviously doing horrible
Bad shit.
And going, no, we're not doing nothing. We're fine.
Cool, guys. Don't worry about it.
So, the big reveal, the pharmaceutical company has been trying to instigate, tension between beastmen so that they will go berserk. And their big plan is that the religious cult has picked up all this steam, and they're putting on a concert where the girl is having her idol show. She has no idea that this shit's going to go down the way it's going down. But basically, she is going to reveal that she has been a human the whole time and explain that being a beastman is a curse. And this is supposed to crush the Beastman spirit so severely and collapse their mental state to the point where every single one of them goes berserk.
Well, because the Beastmen are finding a thing that brings them together in Nazuna pretending to be the wolf deity, and it's something that's brought everybody up in this time of tension.
Yeah.
And so when she reveals that she's been a traitor and betrays this trust, it's going to cause such emotional duress in all the Beastmen that they're all going to berserk simultaneously.
Yes.
And the reason that the pharmaceutical man wants this to happen is because he's working on a serum to remove the Beastmen genome from all the Beastmen. This is his perfect excuse to turn everyone into a human.
Yeah. So he has a serum that will turn Beastmen into humans. And some form of this is what turned main girl and her friend into Beastmen.
Yes.
Little unclear. At least I feel like I didn't catch on to it enough, but there was some kind of prototype that got loose, and the blood bags were just dropped and got
that's
mixed
right.
up.
They mixed up the blood
and so
bags.
the main girl and her friend happened to get beast blood put in their veins, and it turned them into hybrids.
Right,
and that's how they
because-
became beastmen.
Because Nazuna was hit by a car and Michiru
Yeah.
tried to save her, and they ended up in the hospital together, and they both got blood transfusions from Beastmen blood.
Yeah, and so Nazuna was immediately taken by the pharmaceutical company, and that's when she was abducted, and she was explained to be this idol and lead this religious group. And she, this whole time, has been thinking that it was like a good thing, and she was just taking advantage of it because she was getting a lot of attention. I knew where to segue, and now I lost it. Yeah, so anyways, climax of the show.
Yes.
Yeah, so the pharmaceutical company has the ability to turn the Beastmen into humans, but they need it to look like...
It needs to be organic.
Yeah, it needs to be organic. So they want to make everyone Hulk out, turn them into humans, no more Beastmen. So, over the course of the end of this show, they have the concert. Things almost avoid exploding into tension, but everyone ends up turning into berserkers. She's the fucking cult leader man, who's a fucking freak, gets up and it proclaims that she is a traitor and a human, and it makes everyone go fucking berserk. And so the plan is going into motion, and then endless legions of vaccine robots are coming out to take out all the Beastmen, and it turns into this huge fucking battle, and White Wolf Man goes to fight Pharmaceutical Company Man, and that guy turns out to have been a Beastman the whole fucking time.
But wait, he's not just any Beastman. He's a pureblood.
Yeah, so he is basically the Aryan race equivalent of a Beastman. Good thing we just talked about Conqueror
Hey, wow.
Shambhala. He's literally a
comes
fucking
back.
Nazi. He's basically Illuminati.
Yeah.
Because, like, it turns out his family is a lineage of pure blood Beastmen. And they believe that purebloods have this greater power, and they have kept their bloodline pure for so long that they are basically super beings, and they are the secret hand that controls the world.
They're the Jews.
Because they have been posing as humans and manipulating them from the inside. They control all the money, they control the world, they are the Illuminati.
Yes.
And so they are trying to eliminate all of the shit breeds, basically. Everyone who is a mutt, they are trying to annihilate. And so that's why they're trying to get rid of all the Beastmen, because humans are easier to control, and they want to get rid of all the mutts, because pure blood's for life.
I want you to open this video with the AMV of BNA, but it's to a Rat King's Remove Ya.
You wanna go to jail? For what?
Shut your fucking mouth, kid.
What am I getting arrested
Shut
for?
your mouth.
What am I getting arrested for?
For being a fucking mutt.
No, that's a being a
I'm a mutt, you a mutt, yeah, we some mutt.
It's a pretty good Fuck 12 song. But yeah, so shit, it's a fan. Turns out that guy was a god, but he's like a three-headed Cerberus dog.
He's the King Ghidorah of Beastmen.
Yeah. So big battles, big battles, big battles. In the end, that man is defeated like a little bitch.
But it's not as though they kill him.
Yeah.
They don't kill him.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Because they play the howl.
Yeah, but yeah, I was gonna get to the how. Because at some point the White Wolf Man is just so overcome because he berserks too. Mm-hmm. He goes berserk, and main girl saves him by basically just giving him a hug and being like, calm the fuck down.
Well, no, he bites her and her blood is like the antidote.
Yeah. Her blood has the antidote in it. That's right.
Because she's half human, half beast.
Because she's half human. So she has the antidote in her blood. And so he goes, he de-berserks, and he lets out this passionate howl. Which, big fuck up on the show's part, in my opinion, because they fucked up that howl. They should have just played a howl.
Just do a wolf howl.
Just
get a wolf howl.
Get a
buy
real wolf howl. Instead, it's the Japanese voice actor howling like an idiot.
Going,
and it sounds fucking hilarious. He literally goes, but this howl, it turns out, has the power to calm the berserk beastmen. And so the main girl records it on her phone, which she discovered this. She had just happened to record it on her phone.
Yes, she just thought it was real cool.
No one knew that this was a special thing, but like it plays on her phone and it de-escalates one of the people. So they're like, oh, we gotta de-escalate. We gotta de-escalate. So she's playing this to the berserkers. They're calming down. Eventually her phone is destroyed. And, she reveals to the god, she's like, you gotta howl, you gotta fucking howl, dude. You gotta give that fucking sick, sweet, passionate howl that calms all the nerves of all the people, that just speaks to your fucking people.
Howl.
That soothing howl. And so he gives the big, it calms, it fucking, oh yeah, they film it on, they broadcast it. They broadcast the big howl, and it calms down all of society. Everyone is good. And then they're all
chill.
Stuck as these fucked up beast monsters, but they're chill. And they all have to get the vaccines, and they get cured.
Yeah, they just have to get therapy.
Yeah, and that's basically cool. The end. And main girl decides to stay as a beast man because she thinks it's cool, and she digs it. And she's like, dude, being a beast man's cool, dude.
To be fair, she got all sorts of sick powers. So, like, she can fly.
She's basically a fucking
stretch
god.
Her arms. She can play baseball real good.
Yeah, we didn't talk about all that.
I mean, I wouldn't want to go back either.
Yeah, so plot out of the way. Let's talk about highlights and what you liked and what you didn't like. You know, what was cool.
I mean, it was all cool.
It was a pretty great time.
Pretty neat. I love the character designs. Everyone is like so distinct and so neat looking. Like, the thing I can say about a show like BNA is, like, you can tell it was a show that leaves a sort of impact because I remember the characters' names.
Yeah.
A lot of anime, I watch them and I'm just like, you know, the main character. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what the name is, though.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, when I remember your characters' names, you've done a pretty good job of making them cool and memorable and distinct.
I think if I were to talk about weaknesses, which I want to say, like, I love this show. I think it's really great. I think it should be a classic that everyone should watch. I think it should be promoted very well. It should be a great entry point for new anime fans. Weak points. Plot a little, predictable, but like I said, it's not that, like, they wanted to tell a story and they told it. It's not it's not bad writing that it's predictable. You know, it's just like, it is a very typical plot. And like, it is very, like, that the main dude is the white wolf.
It's like you see, you see him and you're like,
it's not
you
super
see the
secret.
Pharmaceutical guy and you're like, he's evil.
Yeah, like certain stuff like that. I mean, Trigger has a tendency to do that and create very predictable sort of villains and stuff. But like, it's what they do with it that matters. And like the payoffs to everything are really great. The ending theme of this show is fucking amazing, but they use it in the show very many times, which I had already, after the first episode, I have listened to the song like 100 fucking times on YouTube without having finished the series. So I'm already like, I love the song, I listen to it all the time, and now I'm hearing it in context of the show, and it's fucking weird. And they keep bringing it up because it's like the main girl and her friend's favorite song that they bonded over or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's just very weird and corny when they bring it in.
There is that one episode where like 3 separate times they show the clip of Nazuna and Michiru when they're humans sitting on the bench listening to the song, and it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It happens for like 15 seconds and then it's gone and you're like, okay.
And it ends up coming off as like a, buy this song on iTunes, please. We're basically advertising this song in the show. Like, that's how it kind of felt sometimes. Even though they did incorporate it well into the plot, but it was just, like, I wish they had used a different song besides the ending theme,
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely one of the things where I was like, that's
it was
a weird
just awkward,
choice, but okay.
There's some awkward stuff in there, but overall, just such a fucking fun time.
Yeah, I feel like it addresses...
Favorite episode, the baseball episode,
the baseball
for sure.
Episode.
Like, the side characters, the bear baseball team,
Bears.
just so fucking funny
fucking
and
great.
adorable. Like, there's some pretty fucking funny shit in this show, There's some pretty fun moments.
Shit.
That whole episode is just amazing.
Yeah, the baseball episode is great.
I love, what's her name? Michiru?
Yeah.
Her personality is just so fun. And she's very much like you get to see these different sides of her over the course of the show, where at first she comes off as just this very like you're kind of like, oh, she's kind of a narc, she's a human, she wants to go back to being human, like, oh, why you want to be a beast man, fuck that dude. And she's kind of only looking out for herself, and she's very much like obsessed with her friend to an unhealthy extent, and she seems kind of shallow in that way. but then she has like such a fun, sporty attitude at times. And like she does really genuinely want to help people.
Yeah.
And in the baseball episode, you feel it so strongly where it's like she's in her prime as like this badass athlete that she wants to be, and she's just fucking shit up and helping these bears, and it's just like a perfect episode. It's super funny.
Yeah, it's great.
Lots of great development. The standalone episodes are really good.
Yeah. Yeah, Michiru is very good girl. Mm-hmm. Even a character like Nazuna, who is like kind of selfish.
Yeah,
kind
she's
of
infuriating, but it's like
But you get
intentionally.
it.
You know, that's the point. There are certain things where like it gets into this weird trend in that point where like Nazuna knows more about the plot than us or Michiru does. Or am I getting those mixed up? No, yeah.
Yeah,
Michiru.
no, you're right.
Because like we are with Michiru from the perspective of we don't know anything about the intricacies of this world or the plot. Like she is our stand-in to learning about the world.
Yeah.
And they do have an awkward tendency in the show for like a lot of the characters know what's going on and aren't telling you, and they're all in on it except for
They're
you and her.
They're withholding information.
And so it's like sometimes when information is revealed, it's like okay, you know, like it's just now it's reached this point where it's time to tell this character so she knows what's going on, and so we're getting it too, and it's like but it's nothing new for most of the actors in the world, and it doesn't really change anything.
Yeah, nothing changes for the grand
like
plot.
Overall, everyone else already knows what's going on. It's just the main girl not knowing what's going on drives her to make mistakes in the plot, even though everyone else knew what was going on and could have prevented it because they know more than her, you know? Yeah. So there's some plot elements that feel a little weird because of that aspect of it, where it's like, oh, well, everyone else knows what's going on already. It's a little weird. Not a huge slight, because obviously they want us to be from the perspective of the main character.
There has to be a bit of mystery.
Yeah, there's got to be some mystery. But she's mostly interacting with the people that know the mystery.
Yeah, definitely.
And Nazuna's one of those people where like she knows a whole bunch of shit, and for like 3 episodes things are happening, and then she's like, well, yeah, I just wasn't telling you this.
Yeah,
I wasn't telling you that. I wasn't telling you this.
I didn't think it was important to tell you. Like,
it wasn't relevant. And then it's like it's such a back and forth of her like trying to be good and then being shitty, and then being good and then being shitty, and you're like, fuck this character. And it's not till the very end that she redeems herself.
It's just really funny because there's an episode where Nazuna, it appears as though she's being kidnapped and taken to the medical center, and they're doing tests on her, and Michiru breaks in to save her, and she starts tearing up this machine that she's strapped to, and the head pharmaceutical guy comes in. His name is Alan. He comes in and he's like, oh no, it's cool, we've been working on a cure for her and we're just running an MRI. And Nazuna's like, yeah, I've been coming here willingly and doing all this shit. Yeah. And it's like, they then break it down to Michiru, like, here's how you became a beast man, the blood incident, so on and so forth. It's like, so she didn't break into your fucking medical facility, you just never would have told her?
Yeah, because they drop it so casually, like it didn't matter, you know? Like it wasn't a big reveal. And it's like, for us and her, this is a huge reveal, but for the characters in the plot, it's like, whatever.
Also,
lol.
like, as a pharmaceutical company, that's kind of a huge, like, legal problem for you to have switched blood that altered the course of 2 young people's lives. Like, that's a big deal.
You can get away with it because it's like, you know, she's a naive kid, and so, like, she has no power to do anything in the situations that she's in.
Obviously, you know, she can't sue him or anything.
And it can kind of work because, like, the bad guy's whole aspect is just, like, he's not revealing any information, but when things come out that could work against him, he just spins it away like, no, it's no problem. This is normal. It's okay. Here, it's fine.
It's under control.
Brad. This was the plan,
Don't
you
be
know?
a narc, bro.
So it is like, her lack of knowledge drives her to make a bunch of mistakes in the plot that are really obvious, like bursting into that facility. There's no repercussions for her doing that, except for plot is revealed that could have just been revealed at any point, you know, and now she just knows, and it didn't change much, you know? Right. So those are some of the plot elements that get a little weird.
Or like her stopping Ogami from breaking the vaccine machine when they first learn about it, and they go and talk to Alan, and Ogami like freaks out and starts wrecking shit, and she stops him, and it's like, well, Could have avoided this, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. Some iffy stuff, but it's because, she's naive. She is very brash, acts quickly, doesn't put a lot of thought into her actions. That's just how her character is. So, like, you gotta be ready for the character to make dumb decisions because they are a dumb character. And that's just... And it's, like, the plot can't happen without her being dumb. Like, it is an aspect of iffy writing, when you have a plot that is progressed by a character acting irrationally. But... I don't know. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, again, when you're talking about a show where you've seen the plot before and the details of the plot aren't really what makes the show great, you're more willing to be like, well, whatever.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Not to, settle this on a low note, but
no, it's still great.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's like the good stuff is just
little nitpicks, but that's most things.
It's easier to talk about nitpicks and bad things because the good stuff is good, and it's good on such in a visceral aesthetic level that it's like, how do you even talk? Like, it's clear when you're watching it what is good, and I think if you watched it, Yeah,
definitely.
And it's harder to go into it because it just gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling.
It's just really comfy. It does feel like you're watching a Saturday morning cartoon as a kid.
It makes you feel like a kid again. It makes me feel excited about anime, Yeah. It is like, it's a very rare occasion where you watch some shit and you go, yeah! Like, I would have loved this at any point in my life if I had seen it, and it would have stuck with me, and I would have had posters, and I would have pushed it on people who had never seen it in the way that I do Gurren Lagann,
Yeah. It's just so easy to, go through. It doesn't feel like a chore to watch it like some shows can feel.
And then you gotta remember, Gurren Lagann is it was widely divisive for a long time. It has a lot of fucking flaws. Gurren Lagann is fucking flawed throughout. There are straight up bad episodes. Consistency is all over the place. But it's like, it's what the show represented and how it executed that made it so memorable and made it so special to people. And, the details aren't really relevant, Like, a lot of the plot of Gurren Lagann is not original. It has comic book villains. It leans into that shit in a strong way, but it's like, it just goes so far with it that you end up loving it. And BNA is a similar thing where it's like, you can forgive all of the little shit because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day
and
when it makes you feel good.
It doesn't take itself that seriously.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
It's not pretentious.
It's ultimately a lot easier to forgive those little flaws when a show isn't up its own ass.
Yeah. It just had some things to say. It had some aesthetics to get across. And that's how Trigger usually approaches things,
Yeah.
It's just like, we had this fun idea and we wanted to give it to you and come along for the ride and you'll have fun and then it's a good time. And you're probably going to want to watch it again next year,
Yeah.
Or immediately when it's dubbed on Netflix, see how it goes.
Oh, gosh. I'm definitely in the camp of, furry culture is going to be normalized within, 2 to 3 years.
Maybe.
We're not too far off.
Yeah.
Furry culture is coming into the norm, and it's going to be widely accepted before long.
You're 6 years old, you watch Zootopia. You're 11 years old, you watch BNA. You're 17 years old, you watch Beastars. Those are a perfect movies for those 3 stages of life. You got the Pixar furry movie, you got the older, the big kid furry show, and then you got the teenage furry show to really fuck you up, and perfect.
And that's how you end up on Fur Affinity.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great triple feature, those 3 things back to back, because they all have similar themes, but totally different aesthetics and tones.
Yeah.
And Beastars is just, the fucking highlight of that.
It's phenomenal.
Fucked.
Furries are coming. I'm telling you.
Coming for that ass.
They're gonna be
tiger
norm.
Ass.
We've already accepted people who want to fuck cartoons. So now.
I mean, who do we add to the list? You got Shakira as an elk. Fuckable furry number 1.
She was a gazelle.
A gazelle.
I'm just gonna let you know.
Shakira the gazelle. Then you got the wolf girl from Beastars.
Juno.
Pretty hot. Bunny girl, pretty hot. Hot enough. Hot enough.
You heard it here, Victor. Folks, Victor wants to fuck.
And I think peak aesthetic is Tanuki girl. She is fucking adorable.
That's
I love
because
her design.
She's definitely more humanized than a lot of furry characters.
She's got them legs.
She's got a highly recognizable human body,
Yeah.
minus having cute animal nose, and like ears, tail. Everything else you can pretty much recognize as human minus claws.
And anytime they show her as a human, you're like, ugh, fuck this shit.
You get to the point where
Go
you're
back
like,
to being a
"Oh,
Tanuki."
I don't want this. I want Tanuki back.
Fuck that shit, dude. Hell no. I want my Tanukis. It's a great character design.
They're really fucking strong character
And Fox
designs.
Girl's good too when she's not a wolf with wings.
The fucking most deviant
When she's a fox, she looks pretty cool. When she's a wolf with wings, she looks fucking stupid.
It's
as shit.
really funny.
It's so
It is
DeviantArt,
the
it's insane.
fucking most OC thing.
Yeah.
Sparkles, Cupcake, the fucking wolf OC.
Yep. Anywho, I guess that's it.
Hey. The furries are coming for you, dude.
They're coming.
They're fucking coming.
As Lala looks at us with displeasure.
Oh, woo.
That's why we had to start the episode with her, because she's a furry.
Yes. Animals are the first furries.
Bye!
Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe. Maybe check out our Patreon. We've got podcasts up there. We've got bonus episodes. We've got behind the scenes things.
Little stinky baby man, little stinky. Stinky boy, stinky.